Hi, don't get me wrong. I do not pretend that your main communication channel with your students should be on the internet in a blended learning setting. It's much easier to launch meaningful discussions in a tutor session than over the internet. However, if you can't invite the students to a face-to-face session, you can still involve learners to discussions either on an asynchronous forum or in a teleteaching session. Moderating discussions in a forum or in a hangout, what we call e-moderating, is even more challenging than in a face-to-face situation. After all, a good moderator will also become a good e-moderator. The moderators are closest to the learners. They are the first to learn about the mood of the learners. He or she can tackle learning problems, deal with flaming spirals, and in the first place, create a productive learning climate. After having watched this video, you can list the duties of an e-moderator. You can explain strategies to spark a meaningful discussion. The first and foremost challenge of an e-moderator is convincing all learners to engage actively in discussions. Very often, people are reading the contributions of others, but are quite reluctant to expose themselves with their own postings. Moderators should create an atmosphere where everybody dares to write some postings. Written communication is different from oral chatter. There is a risk that small misunderstandings escalate in verbal aggression. Overcoming the hurdles and engage to exchange ideas freely is just the first step. It is the duty of an e-moderator to keep the discussion focused and to foster a deep understanding of concepts. Good e-moderators use some tricks to launch engaging discussions. Especially at the beginning of a dialogue, they respond quickly to any course's posting. In this way, you encourage others to participate. Triggering a reaction is highly motivating for novices of virtual discussions. A good practice for e-moderators is to be visible by throwing in short remarks. Make it a habit to leave always some traces at any of your visits in the discussion forum. It is important for e-moderators to care for a friendly tone in the postings. This way, they may create a model for cultivated communication style. Diligent e-moderators are a crucial success factor for effective e-learning. They have to be trained for their demanding task. Reading a book, such as Activities by Gilles Salmon, is a good starting point. Acquisition of skills, however, needs practice. According to my experience, the easiest and shortest way is learning by doing. Applying the theoretical concepts, reflecting on the outcome, and discussing alternative approaches. E-moderators of synchronous live events in Google Hangout or a similar tool are confronted with similar challenges. Promoting engagement by all participants, keeping the discussion focused and flowing, and forcing participants to respond to others and not just answering to your questions. In synchronous discussions, however, you have to respond in real time, more spontaneous, without having to think about the best reaction. The best provision for this task is to prepare you carefully for different scenarios. What can you prepare in advance? Relevant questions. You can look for polls, group assignments, sparks to ignite discussions, group work. Leave enough time open for unforeseen events. You will be much more at ease if you're prepared for the life lesson. With some good strategies in the backhand, you will be much more flexible to respond authentically to a new situation. Such live events may also be recorded. Have a look at the instructions of how to start a Google Hangout on air. Generally, participants appreciate to be able to watch recordings either as a form of replay or if they missed the live event, to compensate for their missed opportunity. E-moderating learning groups in asynchronous or synchronous discussion is no easy task. You can read excellent recommendations on how to approach the job, but you have to develop these skills by practicing and getting experience. Thank you for your attention.